Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, this is your U.S. General 5-drawer tool cart with side tray and deep compartment. Today is Thursday, as you can see. We just now making it back over to the storage unit, getting back to it, getting busy as always. All right. In today's segment, I would like to do a little follow-up from yesterday's demonstration. If you follow the content and you follow the videos, you would know in the last video that was uploaded was technically based upon the Milwaukee right angle impact wrench, just as well as the 3/8 stubby, alongside with quite a few different brands of impact sockets, just as well as a snap-on magnetic power socket. Okay. But in this particular video right here, I want to point out a few things. I want to go a little bit more into depth and a little bit more into detail. In this particular video, I am going to give a lot of different looks, okay, and a lot of different quick shots. So it'd be important to pay attention to what's being demonstrated in the video, all right? But I ain't going to hold you up too much more longer in the introductory of things. But as I always state, as usual, I always keep my signature lingering somewhere in the background. My Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You already know. Okay? So pretty much I'm about to get some contents out to the top of the tool cart. We ain't gonna hold you up too much more longer. We're gonna dive right into it. So walk with me. Let's get it. Okay, at the prior moment, real quick, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what we're technically going to take a look at in visual in today's video. All right, if you followed yesterday's video, you would know that we were taking a look at Tekton's shallow impact socket set, okay, just as well as some of the 3/8 drive Mako impact sockets. And as you can see back over here, which is the Astro Pneumatics, okay? In this particular segment right here, as you notice towards the back, I have a snap-on set in 3/8 drive shallow, which is running from 8mm to 24mm, okay? In yesterday's video, I also demonstrated and showed the snap-on 10mm magnetic power socket, okay? Here, what you're taking a look at is the Milwaukee 3/8 drive SAE standard thin wall deep impacts. Yesterday was also this torque made by Tekton, which is impact graded, was in that particular video. If you notice in this video at the prior moment, I actually have out the snap-on low profile socket set, okay, which we're going to get into this a little bit between these and the Astro Pneumatics. All right, the part number is 210RAFMA. Okay, in this particular demonstration and visual, as you can see, I have out quite a few different 3/8 drive tools. Okay, this 1/4" hex right here, we know that it's a 1/4" hex impact drill driver, but it actually has a 1/4" hex with a 3/8 drive adapter on it at the prior moment. As we get through the video, you will understand why I actually have this particular tool out, okay? Just as well as what you're taking a look at here is the IR 15Q Max. This is the 3/8 stubby right here, all right? Just as well as in yesterday's video, you seen the Milwaukee 3/8 stubby here in a cordless version, just as well as we have the 3/8 right angle impact. I also have the first generation 3/8 drive cordless ratchet out for a particular reason also, all right, which we will get to. As you can take notice over here, I have the snap-on double extra long high performance flex heads, okay, ratcheting wrench, all right, which is a 17mm to 19mm. And what you're basically taking a look at here is a 17mm Mac precision torque, okay, which is a flex head ratcheting wrench. What you're taking a look at over here, all right, is two snap-on 3/8 drops. One is a standard handle, and another one is a long extended flex head, non-locking. And also, what you're taking a look at is the Mac Access. This is the 13-inch version of the non-locking, okay, and the Mac Access Mac tools. All right. So these are some of the items that we are going to be taking a look at real quick. All right, and this video is going to be based upon some things that was pointed out in yesterday's video, but I'm going to go a little bit more into depth. All right, just real quick, once again, when it comes to these chrome sockets here, okay, as you can see, these are Mac Expert. Okay, there's a reason why I actually have these chrome sockets out also. This is a socket of Craftsman. As you can see, there are some off brands, so it's not to say that I do not use other particular brands of sockets. As you can see, this is another brand by the name of Tech. Okay, this is a brand that is distributed by Advanced Auto, just as well. As you can see, here is a 17 millimeter, and this is gear wrench. Okay, so we're gonna dive right into it. All right, so let's get it. Okay, in yesterday's video, what we took a look at is that we took a look at a size differential and comparison between the right inch impact wrench by Milwaukee and the 3/8 stubby. Okay, now in this particular shot, as you can see, I have an IR Ingersoll Rand pneumatic impact gun, which is a 3/8 stubby. Okay, all three models, as you can see, have friction rings on them. Okay, if you're not familiar, okay, with the friction ring style, okay, the friction ring is what you basically see here. Okay, and you see how I'm moving it from side to side, and as you notice, all three drive sizes have friction rings on them. Okay, now if you take notice over here, all right, to the adapter, all right, this is what your detent versions would look like, just as well as this is a first generation Milwaukee ratchet, and as you can see, it has a detent. These models do not have friction rings. Okay, what we showed in yesterday's particular video, as you're taking a look at here, is a 3/8 drive Astro Pneumatic Nano Impact Stubby Socket Set. Okay, what I was pointing out in that particular video, okay, these corners, as you can see here, all right, where a fastener would seat within inside the socket, was a whole lot much more aggressive than the Macos and the Tectons, okay, which I demonstrated and showed in yesterday's video. All right, so I want to take another quick look with an extra edition of the Milwaukees. All right, so I'm gonna get one of those out and we're gonna dive right into it. Okay, now that I have one of the Milwaukees out and I have the Astro Pneumatic, if you can take a look towards the inside, okay, the depth of each of them do basically look the same, but even with the Astro Pneumatics, the lines appear to be a little bit more wider, where that a fastener would be able to seat inside the socket a little bit more correctly if it will focus in properly. But this is what I'm basically noticing at the prior moment between the two. Okay, now as you can see on these sockets, okay, these sockets is designed mainly more for ball detents. When Astro Pneumatic made these particular sockets, okay, the sockets were designed for Astro Pneumatic's Nano Impact Wrench, okay, to be utilized with these particular sockets right here. If you're not familiar with that tool, I'll give you a visual to that tool and the part number real quick. All right. Okay, so as you can see, this is a 19 millimeter, all right, and you can see the part number on the socket, which is 7831414. Okay, these sockets was designed, okay, to complement this particular impact wrench right here, which is the Astro Onyx Nano Impact Wrench. Okay, you can see the price listing here for a 3/8 drive and a 1/2-inch drive. The part number for the 1/2-inch drive is AST-1822, and the 3/8 drive part number is AST-1828, as you can see here. And this is basically giving you the specs. Okay, so this is what these were initially technically designed for. So when mixing these with other brands, just sort of say, as I was demonstrating and I was showing yesterday's video, when applying these to the Milwaukee right angle impact wrench and the 3/8 stubby, and what I basically found. Okay, so we're going to take another look at that real quick. Let's get it. Okay, yesterday what we found between the Astro Pneumatics, okay, when applying it to the anvil of the right angle impact, okay, if you can notice here, okay, and you can see that the anvil exceeds, okay, the length of the inner portion of the socket. And as you can see, the friction ring is basically at the base end of this socket. To try to give you a more closer visual, okay, and as you can see right here is the ring, okay, and you can see me shifting the ring. So that just goes to show you, okay, how much the anvil is sticking through the socket. So now when driving the tool, the anvil will basically be running along a fastener. So to give you a good example where this could possibly become an issue, say for instance on a right angle, okay, which is technically not like the 3/8 stubby, and say you had to hold this at a particular angle and you did not have the socket flushed on a fastener, okay, it could be possible that when driving the tool, that it can shear off corners and round the fastener a whole lot much more faster due to the contact of the anvil against the fastener and the fastener not being able to seat all the way down within the socket. Okay, when I moved this socket from the right angle impact and I moved it to the 3/8 stubby, okay, on the 3/8 stubby, the anvil with the friction ring in the upper portion of the anvil exceeded the inner portion of the socket a whole lot much more further than this right angle impact wrench. So once again, like I just demonstrated and showed you how I'm basically spinning the friction ring, okay? So there's a reason why I actually have the Ingersoll Rand 3/8 drive out, which also has a friction ring, okay? But if you take notice to each drives, okay, it tends to appear that the IR's anvil is a little bit more shorter than the stubby, and just so to say, this right angle impact wrench. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at this socket on that 3/8 stubby there. Let's get it. Okay, now on the Ingersoll, it is very noticeable, okay? I'm quite sure that you can see that because I'm trying to focus in and get in close, okay? And you can see how far the anvil is basically exceeding within inside the socket, okay? Which you can also see the friction ring here. So this possibly could become an issue when using these sockets, okay, on these particular impacts, all right? I'm going to give you a visual of these on the 1/4 inch hex, all right, with a D10 anvil, all right, because I didn't find the same issue as I'm seeing with these three particular tools. Okay, now you can see I have the Astro Nano, all right, on a 1/4 inch hex, and if you take notice, all right, towards the inside, okay, this anvil is a little bit more flushed, okay, And as you can see how the socket more enough adjusts differently than on a friction ring, testically compared to a detent. And if you notice the play that's in it and how much more looser it is, okay? And this is on a 1/4" hex to a 3/8 drive adapter. And you can see all the play, okay, that's within the inner portion of the socket, okay? Once again, just something for individuals out there to take notice to, all right? This is your Astro Pneumatic Nano sockets. Let's move along. Okay, now as you can see, I have the Nano on a 3/8 drive, first generation ratchet. And as you can see, once again, with a D10 anvil, that it is a whole lot much more flush. Okay, the anvil is not exceeding the socket, just like so to say, of some of the friction rings that we have in our cordless tools and pneumatic air tools that you technically see at the top of the tool cart. Okay, but as you can see here, all right, it still has the play in it, okay, in these sockets. One thing that I want to point out about these Astros, when locked in on the friction ring, these sockets are hard to get on and they lock in very tight. There's absolutely no play that you are basically seeing when you see it here on the ratchet and you see it on this 1/4" hex driver with a 1/4" hex shank to a 3/8 adapter. Okay, so once again, this is just something that I want you to take notice to. Okay, and once again, you see, okay, what type of play that it basically has. Okay, let's move along. Okay, now one thing that I do want to mention, which I have stated in the past, that these particular sockets, they can benefit you in other areas. Okay, like I said, they can be used with ratchet and wrenches. As you can see, I have two different lengths. Okay, this is a double flex head made by Snap-on, and this is a open end combination ratcheting flex head ratcheting wrench, which is a Mac precision torque. Okay, and which is also 17 millimeter. Okay, you can hear the tooth count on the Mac precision torques. Sounds, very type high pitched, testically compared to Snap-on's 80 dual design count. I'm quite sure that you can hear the difference. You can hear the smoothness. So these particular sockets is a benefit in this area just as well. And also with using the right size combination, okay, whether open end or a regular standard combination wrench without any ratcheting feature can be utilized with these Astro pneumatic sockets. Okay, let's move along. Okay, now you can see I have the 3/8 shallow Snap-on set out, which runs from 8 millimeter to 24 millimeter. Okay, what I actually have, as you can see, this is a Snap-on shallow socket, and I basically just have this set out so that we can take a look towards the inside anvil to see if the anvil exceeds the square drive size of the socket, in which it's not, and it is locked in tight, okay, with absolutely no play. All right, so this is, some of the concerns that I have when it comes to certain sockets and their placement fitment ratio when applying certain sockets to certain particular anvils. Okay, so that we now know that there's no issue when it comes to the Snap-on sockets. All right. Okay, and just as well as I will show cordless, I will also show air pneumatic. Okay, and on the IR, okay, the anvil is exceeding the inner portion of the socket slightly. Okay, it's not as flush as it just was on the right angle impact, which is a cordless tool. All right, this is a pneumatic air tool. Okay, as you can see here. All right, this is the IR 115 QMax right here. All right. All right, now what we're taking a look at is the ratchets at this prior moment. Once again, these two front ratchets, one is a standard handle snap-on. They're all FL80s. This is the extended length non-locking flex head 3/8 drive, and just as well as this is the Mac Access non-locking 3/8 drive. What you have back over here is your low profile 3/8 drive. All right. There is a bigger difference between this 3/8 drive low profile ratchet when it comes to the Anvil. If we can get this to focus in clearly enough, see if it'll focus in. But the ball detent, as you can see on this particular Anvil, is very small, as you can see here. All right. Just to give you a good example of the tool, if it'll focus in properly. Okay, now this is a regular normal standard 3/8 drive Anvil with its normal standard ball detent, and if you can tell the indifferential between the low profile and the two balls, you can see on the low profile that the ball is testically small. So the sockets that come along with these particular ratchets, whether in the metric set or the SAE standard set, inside the socket is designed the same way, okay, to basically lock this particular ball in. All right, but there is an issue with these ratchets between these particular sockets, because these sockets do actually have a lot of play when it comes to these ratchets here. But when you use these sockets, okay, on just so to say a regular normal standard 3/8 drive Anvil, they lock in very, very tight. Okay, they're more usable on particular regular normal standard drive sizes like this, rather than its actual low profile ratchet that actually comes with the set. Okay, we're gonna take a look at that real quick just as well. Let's get it. Okay, as you can see, I have a 19 millimeter. These sockets are 12 point. Okay, as you can see, they are the metric set. But as you hear me shaking the ratchet, and I'm not shaking it that hard, but you can hear the play between the socket and the Anvil. Okay, it's hard for me to do this particular demonstration holding the camera and recording at the same time, but I'll try to do my best. Okay, but as you can see, the socket is rocking back and forth on the Anvil. Let's just full focus in properly. It's hard to do this with one hand, but I'm quite sure that you can hear it. Okay, I'm gonna get this socket locked on one of these particular drive sizes, and you'll be able to tell the difference. All right.